4 minutes.
Across the South Coast, live from Solent University, you're listening to Solent Sports News.
Good afternoon, it's 2 o'clock on Friday the 17th of March and I'm Dylan Chavas with your Solent Sports News headlines. Starting with football, the Champions League draw was made earlier on today and, putting it lightly, there were some mouth-watering ties to come out the hat, including the two most recent winners of the trophy facing off against one another. I'm joined by European correspondent Ben Hayward. Ben, what can you tell us about the draw?
Yes, Dylan, you hit the nail on the head. Chelsea will attempt to do what Liverpool couldn't do and knock out the current holders, Real Madrid, in the next round. And Bayern Munich will face Manchester City, which will obviously be a mouth-watering game. It's going to be a bit of a weird one for João Cancelo, obviously being on loan from Manchester City. At Bayern Munich, bit of a weird transfer that in January. The other two ties see Benfica taking on Inter Milan and AC Milan face Napoli, which will be the first time since 2018 that there'll actually be an Italian team in the semi-finals.
Thanks for that, Ben. Well, there were mixed emotions for the English sides involved in European ties last night as well. Most notably, perhaps, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal side were knocked out of the Europa League by Sporting Lisbon on penalties, following a 1-1 draw on the night. After the game, the boss expressed his disappointment at being knocked out.
We really wanted to go through and fight in the competition and go for it. And today we tried for 120 minutes and the penalties, and it wasn't enough.
Elsewhere in the competition, Manchester United won 1-0 against Real Betis, winning the tie 5-1 on aggregate. And in the Conference League, West Ham breezed past AEK Larnaca, coming out 4-0 winners in the second leg of their tie. Well, in the past hour, the Europa League draw has also been made, Ben. And what can you tell me about that? Man United are heading back to Spain, aren't they?
They are indeed, Dylan. They'll face Sevilla in the next round, of course, beating Real Betis 5-1 on aggregate, as you've just previously mentioned. Of course, it was an easy second leg for them after they beat Betis 4-1 in the first leg. So, yeah, they'll be returning to Spain, and Sporting Lisbon will face Juventus in the next round after beating Arsenal on penalties, like you say. So, I'm sure there's a lot more entertainment in store in the Europa League.
Perfect, thanks for that, Ben. Today is St Patrick's Day, but there was a very different Patrick in the news this morning. Crystal Palace have sacked their manager, Patrick Vieira. The Eagles haven't won a match in 2023 and were beaten 1-0 by Brighton in the Premier League on Wednesday, marking their third defeat in a row. Palace are now just 3 points above the relegation zone and take on league leaders Arsenal this Sunday at the Emirates as they look to begin their flight towards the upper reaches of the table. Well, from one team struggling for form to one very much on it, Solent University's football first team had to settle for a point on Wednesday as they were held to a 0-0 draw against Bournemouth University. Solent, who wrapped up the league title with 2 games to go, play their final league fixture at home to University of Southampton this Monday night. It's going to be free to go down to Test Park and support the boys. Kick-off is at 7:45. On to rugby now, and we've arrived at the final weekend of Six Nations action. A month of international rugby all comes down to this, and there are still 2 teams in the running for the title. Ireland's Grand Slam ambitions remain intact after victory against Scotland in round 5, but France could still snatch the title if results and a little bit of luck go their way. Ireland face England, and England head coach Steve Borthwick admits everyone connected with the team is hurting after last weekend's thrashing by France, and that they're desperate to end the campaign with a better performance tomorrow.
Everybody around the team, players, coaches, every one of the management team found last week's result and performance painful. It hurts. And every one of us has worked this week together to get an improved performance on Saturday.
The rest of the fixtures see Wales travelling across the Channel to face France, while Scotland will look to round off with a win against Italy. That's all from us for now. I'll be back in an hour. Remember, you can keep up to date on our website, solentjournalism.co.uk. Thanks for listening.